Hey guys, it's Jim from the Paranormal Podcast. I wanted to come out. I've been asking for people to send their stories in, but I never actually got to tell my story on our channel. What got me into the paranormal. So I have Sean here with me. He's going to ask questions that you guys would ask. So let's get this started, guys. So my story starts out in a small town of Aurelian, Canada. My father just had a stroke. We were down on our luck, so we had to downgrade to a different house. So we moved into a farmhouse. It was a nice little place when we saw it. Well, I was a little kid, so I didn't really have any choice. So we moved
When
into.
you say little kid, how
I was
old?
I was around 7 at the time.
7?
7. I was 7. My brother was around 11, 12.
Okay. And it was your brother, you, and your mom, right?
Yes, and my father actually too.
And your
He
father,
he
I
was
see.
still in the picture at that point, but
Okay.
he was recovering from the stroke.
Mm.
Him and my mom owned a construction company and all that, and everything went under after he had the stroke because my mom couldn't do it on her own. So we moved into this house, and things were fine at first. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary was really happening, but like eventually things started going south. When the first thing that we noticed, my mom noticed, she's a very spiritual lady. She can feel energy, see things. I can feel, she can see. And she started seeing entities in the house more and more and more the longer we lived there. So the story that really starts out with me, my brother and I, we would play hide and go seek, and I got into a closet, and I'm sitting behind the closet. I hear him coming up the steps. I'm just hiding in there. I'm like, oh, he's there. I'm all like, you get all excited when somebody's coming after you.
Yeah.
So I'm hiding in the closet. I hear him come up, and then all of a sudden, something like grabs me in the closet, like my arms, and I get pulled back into the back of the closet. And I was like, what is going on? What is going on? And I start screaming and crying, and my brother starts trying to open the closet door. It's not opening. So something's holding the door shut. And so eventually it opens. My brother comes in. I'm a mess. I'm on the ground crying. And like I have these like scratch marks on both sides of my arms. It was like 3 or 4 that looked like claws came across my arms. Very scary. My mom was like, okay, this is weird. At first she was like, well, I don't know, maybe it's
Maybe it's just the
active
kids playing or something
active imagination, something
Yeah.
like that. So she's like, whatever, nothing bad. She hasn't seen anything. Next, me and my brother would sleep at night, and when we would sleep, toys would float around the room, like come through. We would like get under the
Toys
bed.
floating around the room. No, sorry, I'm out. I don't even want to hear the rest of this story, Jim.
Poltergeist.
But go on.
Okay, so toys would float around the room, and we're sitting there, and me and my brother just scared. Like, what's going on? Like, why is this? Like, what is going on? And like, we'd eventually fall asleep, but we'd wake up with bruises all over our bodies and toys all over the floor. So like,
And for the record, your mom was not beating you. This is not a coping mechanism.
no,
Your
no.
mom's a wonderful person.
Mom's wonderful woman, would never hit us. I mean, unless we deserved it.
Yeah.
But
which you did a lot. No.
Which I did a lot. But no, these were toys hitting us, flying us. We'd find broken toys in the morning, like fucking or freaking
not
busted
G.I.
up.
Joe.
Not G.I. Joe. No.
He was just serving America.
But yeah, so my mom, when she would see us wake up, and she's like, "How did you guys get these bruises?" And it was happening every night. So we'd have a different bruise every night. So the next thing that would happen, we'd have a plumber over, and him and my dad were working on the basement, and he was like, the plumber, when he would come down there, he'd be like, "Oh man, you guys got to do something down here. It's just dark. It's dark. I get it as a basement, but just feels darker than like any other basement I've been to."
Always trust your plumbers.
Always trust your plumbers because we had a pipe burst. So it is in the middle of nowhere, Canada, so cold, whatnot, whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't think we
Um,
need to blame the evil spirits on poor plumbing.
Poor plumbing. You never know.
It wasn't me,
Wait.
honey. I swear, it was the ghost.
Aliens. No, I'm just kidding. No, so the plumber came down. Him and my dad fixed the pipe. He was like a family friend, I guess. Then the next thing that would happen, so my mom would hear scratching at the doorstep, like at the basement at the door.
Yeah.
She'd hear scratching. And she was like, "Oh, maybe a raccoon got in, whatever." She put baby powder on the steps to see maybe what it was. And when she did that, like the next day, to her horror, it was baby footsteps. And she was like, and it
There were no
wasn't,
babies in that
there was
house.
no
Jim.
babies. It was my brother and I got a very big foot for a child. So she was like, okay, there's something really weird going on. Like there shouldn't be baby footsteps in the basement. Jack and Jim, they don't ever get down there. It's usually locked, so there's no way. And for me, I've never been down there without it. I was too scared to go down there as a kid. The next would be the real altercation that got us to really like, well, we need to go do something about this. We need to go to a church, get an exorcist.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, they would incubate pigs down in the basement, like when they were young, before they could go out with the rest of the pigs, right? And my mom went to go take out this baby pig that was ready to go out and be with the rest of them, right? And so when she picked it up and she went to go, as she was about to break the doorway, like to go through, the thing blew up in her arms.
The pig?
The pig blew up in her arms. It was crazy. I remember she still tells me to this day, she is like, this is the most demonic thing that's ever happened to her. And she's, to be honest, my mom's done 3 exorcisms in her life, and this is the worst one she's ever done.
Oh, yeah. That. First of all, we need to get to the other 2 exorcisms at some point. Maybe not this episode.
At some point.
But
at some point. It
just wow, like that is like top tier evil demon ghost, whatever you call it. That's as bad as it gets.
like being able to affect, you can see things like with ghosts, it affects like the non-physical.
Yeah.
But this thing had enough power to affect the physical world, which is crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of energy, power, whatever this thing had, it was able to make a pig explode in my mom's arms. Wild story. So after that happened, obviously my mom's like, there's something very wrong with this house. And this is what really
time to leave.
Yeah. Well, this is what led my mom down the path of like, we need to go to a church. We need to get this done. Growing up, we were Quaker. And they would help us a bit. They would help us, but it ended up being the Catholic Church that came out to the house, and they don't usually do things for people that aren't actually Catholic.
If you're not Catholic, it takes a lot of, persuasion and knowing people to get them out. And yeah, I mean, they're good people. They'll help people when they need help, and it sounded like you needed help.
Yeah, they ended up, after the first like 30 minutes of them being in there, they're like, you need something really bad in here, because that's just the presence in here. Was just pure, like they said, it was like just pure evil in the house. And the prerequisite to this, like, so it was almost similar to like the Amityville Horror. The previous owners, the father killed their child, and then locked the wife away because she was going to call the police on him, and he locked her in the room. And then she ended up killing herself over it, and then he ended up killing himself too as well, because I think he came back to his bearings and he's like, what did I just do? So it was, as I say, that house, like that was the definition of hell house. It was a scary place.
Well, thanks for sharing with me and with all of our viewers. I'm glad you got on the good side of that, or on the other side of that.
Yeah, the priest were able to come in, do an exorcism, and the funny thing about the plumber coming again later on, he was like, "Did you guys paint this place? Like, it's a lot brighter down here after the exorcism." So
Yeah.
it's just like the vibes in that place is definitely, yeah, it's just off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, no problem.
If you guys have questions about Jim's story, feel free to ask in the comments below. And thanks for watching.
Willing to tell you guys anything. And if you're going through it, let me know. You know, I can ask my mom, and maybe she can give you some tips to see what you could do to protect yourself in this kind of situation, because it happened to her, it happened to anyone.
Paranormal nut does not guarantee success for an exorcism.